Hi, today we're going to talk about plantar fascia dysfunction. The plantar fascia is an inner structure under the sole of the foot that goes from the heel to the toes and behaves very much like a tendon. So in the early phases, like a tendon, it's actually a very pain-sensitive structure. It can become swollen, inflamed, and actually really quite acute. So the first thing we need to look at when we're talking about plantar fascia is what do we do in this first phase? How do we settle down this pain? Now, this stage can actually last several weeks, up to just over a month or so, even a little bit longer. And it's all about what we do and how we're able to settle this down. A lot of this is down to activity modification. So if you can find what's causing the problem, so is it running? Is it much more painful when you run? Then you're going to have to either decrease the running or sort of rest from the running altogether. I've found in a lot of cases walking in work shoes, so especially men walking in leather sole work shoes is actually quite an aggravating factor because these have no cushioning or support. And if you do have to walk to and from work, it's actually quite a good idea to put your trainers on. And if you've got to wear work shoes, take them with you, or even just buy a cushioned heel pad insert, because that can help just take a little bit of the stress out of the heel, and it just makes it a little bit more comfortable. Basically, the less we irritate it, the quicker it'll all settle down. So what else can we do in this sort of first phase? We decrease our activity, prolonged walking, running, anything like that's irritating it. What we want is to be able to get up in the morning and it not be too acutely painful. We want that acute pain to start settling down. Footwear, you're probably most comfortable in things with a bit of cushioning and a bit of support. Probably your trainers. If you feel your biomechanics have been part of the cause of it, it might be a good opportunity to have a check-in with a podiatrist, see if you need any orthotics. You might even find you have a temporary pair of orthotics just to get you over the acute phase and the reloading phase. There are a few things that we could do as therapists. We can tape it. Again, I can have a little bit of relief. We can start releasing some of the structures that are causing the plantar fascia to be tight, the calf, the lower back. Sometimes the hamstring can be involved as well, and just make sure that the foot isn't under stress. So what's the range of movement of the ankle like? The ankle and the big toe. Quite often this is very limited, and if you have got limited ankle and big toe movement, then you're going to have to rotate the foot more and load the plantar fascia more than you would normally. So these are quite significant contributing factors. In this time, it's really good to just start seeing what that foot and ankle movement is like, and if you can get it assessed. But it's easy just to do your knee to wall measurement that we've talked about previously, just to see what the calf range is like, one foot compared to the other. So in this early phase, we do start doing a little bit of light exercise just to start getting a little bit of load and just to maintain and keep that calf and foot a bit stronger. But it's all fairly sort of static mid-range stuff. You can start doing some 2 feet calf raises. So very, very simple, just going up onto both feet. Now, if that's too sore, which on some people it is, you can start that in sitting. So, you can just sit on a chair, feet flat on the ground, and just start just going up and down. And you're just starting just to load that plantar a little bit, which will just start to stimulate it and to say, come on, hey, we need you to start healing, but we don't want to overload you and make you sore again. Okay, so that's the sort of first phase, really. The first phase is very, very gentle exercise, a little bit of work, self-release. You get into the calf, you can sort of free that off a little bit. Use the foam roller onto your calf. Again, that's quite a nice way of releasing it. One of the big things that's not advocated really for plantar fascia is sort of stretching per se. It's a bit like scratching an itch. It doesn't really, all the research has shown it doesn't actually make a massive difference or get results. But what we can do is we can just do a little bit of release just into our foot. Now, can we see if I bring my foot up? Not quite. So if I take my shoe off. Okay, so if we come down here, so let's see if I put it there, that's probably better. Okay, so you can just start bringing your big toe up and just doing some very, very little isometric, just holes, and you can just start pushing your big toe against your hand, and then just doing a little bit of work just into that plantar, just holding and just gently releasing it. You can also get into the deep flexors in here, in this position, and think, right, is it tight in there? Or get into your calf. You can release all these structures yourself. Just get into a bit, hold it, and pull your foot towards you. So that's just quite a nice way of just seeing what the range of your big toe is like, range of your foot, and just working through it. So it's okay just to do a little bit of work on that. What you've got to remember is if you've done something and it's acutely sore after, doesn't like it, so we don't do it again. So that's the first phase. So the first phase is just very, very, it's pain management, very, very low level exercises, and just see what we can do. And then we get to the loading phase. So once the acute pain settle down, you can you find you can just you can walk, things aren't too bad. You've not got that whole horrible nagging pain all the time. You get up in the morning and it's a bit sore, it's a bit stiff, but it's not acute. So you'll see the difference. And the one thing that I explain to my patients is plantar fascia doesn't go away overnight. Okay, the pain doesn't disappear. What you find is your function improves. So as your function improves, the pain levels stay at probably a similar level for a while. However, you can do a lot more. So you suddenly think, oh, I've done loads of walking yesterday, and actually it's no more sore today. And so your function improves and the ability to load it gets better. And then once you've got your loading up to a decent level, then the pain starts to abate further. And that's the sort of process that you're looking at. You're not looking at hey, wake up in the morning and the pain's gone, because that does not happen with tendon issues. So how do we go about loading the plantar fascia once it's actually started to get past the acute phase? So the most important exercise is, if you don't do anything else, do this one. So you take a rolled up towel, okay, and we're going to come down again. So we'll just come down there, right. And I've just got a weight here because I haven't got a step in this room. Study's being used. Okay, so you put your toes on the towel, so it just extends the plantar fascia a little bit more. And then you just start doing some calf raises. So you go up. So you go up really slowly for 3 seconds, 2, 3. Hold it for a couple of seconds and then come down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can start off just on the ground. Okay, and if it's a bit too sore to do it on one foot, keep the other foot on the ground with a little bit of support. So you go up, hold it for a couple of seconds, and come down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, then you can start doing it on one leg. Up, 1, 2, 3, hold it there, and then come down, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can do that. That's your key. That's your take-home exercise of the day. You can do calf raises. You can see what your calf capacity is like. So you can go up, you can hold it there, you can go back down. Think, oh, what's that like? Go back down, go back down, go back up, hold it there, go down a bit more. So you can just start doing some really slow holds and just challenge that calf through the range and just see what it's like. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Okay? So you get the idea. So once we've done our 2 leg calf raises, stay there, then we need to start progressing to 1 leg. So basically start off with 2 feet, toes on a towel, and then go to 1 foot, toes on a towel, and then when you can do that, then you can start lowering it, so you're adding more load on it. And the big questions people ask is, when can I start to run, right? So think about what you need to be able to do to run. You need to be able to push off your foot quite comfortably. So you need to really be doing some sort of, one-legged eccentric work. So toes on a step, a little bit lowering of the heel, up and down. Ideally 3 sets of 12, 3 sets of 15 if you can, 3 sets of 20 if you're an endurance runner, because this is what we're going to be asking our foot to do. Once you can start to do that, you can start thinking about a bit of low-level running. However, if you want to start running faster, it's a bit like we've talked about for the calf and Achilles, you need to be able to hop, you need to be able to jump, and you need to be going through a jump circuit. So we can progress from 2 feet, 1 foot, eccentric. So eccentric means dropping the heel, lowering the heel on a step. We can add in some circuits into there, step ups, calf raises, press, one leg dip, one leg balance. So it's always nice to start off with a little bit of one leg, standing on one leg and just doing some one leg dip exercises, because that's a really nice way of just seeing where you are, warming up the foot, and just getting your control before you start doing your other exercises. And then we move on to a little bit of a jump circuit. So once we can do our eccentric, we start, and it's really nice just to put a square on the ground. So you can mark a square on the ground with some tape. Then 2 feet, jump forwards, backwards, side to side, diagonal one way, diagonal the other way. Great, 3 sets of 10, no reaction. Do this a few times, and then you can go and start doing a hop of the same circuit. Forwards, backwards, side to side, diagonal. I haven't got a square marked out in here, so I can't show you that. I'm not sure how good that'll look on video anyway. So that would be my progression. And when you know that you can hop comfortably, that's the time when you can start thinking, yeah, I can probably return to some faster running and some sessions now. If you try and return too soon to various sort of phases of your running, it'll just flare up. And if it flares up, you just think, right, I've taken the load capacity too far, I've got to move backwards a step. Alongside that, I think that's your sort of plantar fascia rehab. What you've also got to consider is, why did it happen? Am I weak higher up in my chain? And one of the things I've sort of been saying on my other vlogs is, now is a really, really good time to sort of take up some of the exercise that you're not normally able to do. There are loads and loads of Pilates classes online. And they're all actually pitched at a much, much lower level, because obviously it's online. They can't watch what you're doing. So it's a really, really good opportunity to think, right, let's try a Pilates class. Let's see what my core's like. Because if your core's pants and it's no good, and you can't do a one-leg bridge, or you can't hold, your hamstrings overworking, your glutes not working, your lower back's overworking, all these factors, then you're not going to be as efficient in that upper part of your body and your core as you should be. And basically your calf, Achilles and plantar are all having to work much, much harder. So if you have got all these little niggles going on, take a step back and think, right, what can I do to address it? Go through a stretching circuit and just think, oh gosh, my right side of my body is so much tighter than my left. It's tight from the top, it's tight from my thorax. Gosh, well, can I loosen that off a bit first? Can I loosen off my lower back? And can I then sort of help that plantar by taking the stress away from it? Look at that. Then start looking at, gosh, but my right leg's really weak. I can't balance on it. I can't stand on it. Do something about it. Because if you haven't got these fundamentals of standing on one leg, glute bridging, hopping, you can't run. Well, you can, but you're going to get injured. So use this as a really good opportunity to take a step back and just reassess on all the things that are missing in your training, and pop them together. Okay, hope that helps. Any questions, just message me.